Welcome, dear listener, to a space beyond the world's clamor, a threshold nestled deep within the forgotten corners of your own being. Here, the very air hums with a subtle, ancient resonance, a vastness that feels both boundless and profoundly safe. Allow the gentle, low frequencies to enfold you, like the softest, darkest velvet. Let lingering echoes whisper promises of a sanctuary where your daily burdens can finally dissolve. Find your comfort now, perhaps wrapped in a warm blanket, or simply in the quiet embrace of your darkened room. My voice will be a guide, a melodic current in this burgeoning twilight. We are not here to flee the shadows, but to gently explore them. Listen to the faint, almost imperceptible stirs in the deep, a distant sigh, a metallic hum from an unknown expanse. These are merely invitations. This journey is a safe descent into a dark meditation, where curiosity replaces dread. Prepare to release, to surrender, and to embark on a profound inner voyage. The depths await, and within them, a unique form of peace. Yes, a unique form of peace, not born of absence, but forged in the quiet acknowledgement of what lies beneath the surface. For we are poised now at the true threshold, beyond mere curiosity, ready to step into the vast, intricate architecture of your own unconscious mind. This is not a journey into fear for fear's sake, but an invitation to gently touch the raw edges of existence, to understand the ancient whispers that shape our most profound anxieties. The very air thickens not with dread, but with a deeper resonance, a rich tapestry of low-frequency hums that seem to vibrate not just around you, but within the very core of your being. Imagine a vast, hidden chamber, carved from ancient stone, where the air itself holds memory and potential. A subtle drone begins to pulse, a barely perceptible tremor beneath the surface of hearing, guiding your attention inward, deeper, with each slow, deliberate breath. This isn't noise. It is a profound silence made audible, a hum that quiets the external world and amplifies the internal, lulling you into a state of deep receptivity. My voice will continue to be a steady guide, a melodic current in this unfolding twilight, not to direct your thoughts, but to illuminate the path you already walk. This space we inhabit, woven from silence and sound, is a sanctuary, a sacred ground, where the boundaries between shadow and light blur, revealing that they are, in truth, two sides of the same profound silence. We seek not to banish the darkness, but to sit with it, to listen to its story, and in doing so, to discover the unexpected tranquility that resides in acceptance. Fear, in this hallowed space, is not an enemy to be vanquished, but a mirror, reflecting facets of yourself often hidden by the harsh glare of daily life. It is within this embracing twilight that genuine understanding begins to unfurl, a quiet blossom in the deepest recesses of your consciousness. In accepting the presence of shadows, we paradoxically find a deeper, more resilient light within ourselves. This journey is one of non-judgmental exploration, a gentle confrontation that leads not to distress, but to the quiet dawn of self-understanding. Allow the soft, persistent resonance of this place to anchor you. Feel its presence, a steady hand guiding you through the intricate pathways of your own psyche. Take a slow, deep breath now, drawing the cool, deep air into your lungs. Feeling the gentle expansion within your chest, hold it for a moment, letting go of any lingering tension, any thought that clings to the surface of your mind. And as you exhale, imagine releasing all that no longer serves you, letting it dissipate into the enveloping darkness of this sacred space. Breathe in peace, breathe out resistance, breathe in openness, breathe out doubt. This rhythmic exchange of breath is your anchor, your personal ritual in this unfolding journey, deepening your connection to the present moment, to this profound internal landscape. The purpose of this descent is not merely to stimulate your senses, to offer a momentary thrill, but to gently unearth the deeper truths of your being. We are moving beyond mere experience towards a form of profound psychological therapy. Through these carefully sculpted narratives, through the immersive canvas of sound, we aim to transform controlled stimulation into cathartic release, to guide you towards an inner landscape where understanding blossoms from the seeds of perceived fear. This entire sanctuary, this meticulously constructed auditory environment, is a crucible for self-discovery. Consider those primal fears that often lurk unspoken, the quiet dread of being utterly alone, the unsettling notion of losing oneself, the profound uncertainty of what lies beyond. These are not weaknesses, but fundamental aspects of the human condition, threads woven into the fabric of our shared humanity. And within this guided exploration, we will approach these universal anxieties not with alarm, but with a quiet, meditative curiosity. Each story we encounter, each landscape of sound we traverse, is a carefully woven thread in a larger tapestry designed to dissolve the sharp edges of apprehension, allowing you to examine these formidable concepts from a place of safety and profound inner calm. The sounds around you now are designed to bypass the analytical mind, to speak directly to the deeper currents of your consciousness. The low-frequency drones may induce a subtle vibration, a gentle hum that resonates with your very cells, encouraging the release of thought, dissolving the rigid boundaries of ordinary perception. This is where true introspection can begin, where the wisdom of your inner self can surface without the clamor of external distractions, without the need for intellectualizing or analyzing. Here, the darkness is not a void, but a fertile ground for growth. The shadows are not enemies, but ancient allies, holding lessons waiting to be learned, comfort waiting to be found. Allow yourself to sink further into this embrace, this enveloping comfort of the unknown. There is no judgment here, only acceptance, no pressure, only the gentle current of existence carrying you forward. Simply be, simply listen, simply feel the subtle thrum of the universe within you, guiding you deeper into the heart of your own tranquil yet profound awakening. This is your invitation to the unconscious, a space where the breath of night itself becomes a lullaby for the soul. And so, as the breath of night itself becomes a lullaby for the soul, we drift deeper towards the first of these echoes, a story whispered from the very fabric of identity itself. Close your eyes, if you haven't already, and allow the gentle hum that surrounds you to deepen, becoming the subtle current that carries you into this narrative. Feel the faint, rhythmic thrumming beneath the surface of hearing, a steady pulse that anchors you, even as the world of the tale begins to unfurl around you. This is a story not meant to startle, but to softly resonate with a primal, quiet dread, the fear of losing the very essence of who you are. Imagine a solitary soul, dwelling in a quiet, unassuming home where the air always seemed to carry the faint scent of old paper and distant rain. Their life was woven from familiar threads, the comforting routine of morning tea, the quiet satisfaction of a well-tended garden, the cherished memory of a childhood melody. But then, an almost imperceptible shift began. It was not a sudden trauma, not a disease that announced itself with fanfare, but rather a subtle, insidious erosion, like fine sand slipping through an hourglass that held not time, but memory. At first, it was barely noticeable. A word would escape them. A name would hover just beyond reach, like a moth fluttering against a window pane, its form seen but never quite grasped. A faint, almost melodic sigh, barely audible, would sometimes seem to accompany these moments of fleeting forgetfulness. A sound like glass chimes dissolving into the ether. They would pause, a furrow of mild confusion appearing between their brows, before simply moving on, dismissing it as the natural ebb and flow of the mind. But the subtle whispers grew. The scent of that morning tea, once so familiar, began to lose its sharp edges, becoming a vague, comforting warmth without distinct character. The image of a beloved face from their past would appear, exquisitely detailed, only for the name attached to it to vanish, leaving a beautiful, hollow sculpture in the mind, the sounds of their own home, the creak of the floorboards, the rustle of leaves against the window pane, once imbued with personal history, now felt strangely generic, universal, detached. They would catch themselves humming that cherished childhood melody, only for the final notes to disintegrate into a fragmented echo, like a recording skipping then ceasing abruptly. A deep, sub-audible vibration, like a distant, slow heartbeat, would often accompany these vanishings, a sound not of panic, but of profound, quiet resignation. It was as if an unseen force, not malevolent, but profoundly indifferent, had begun to sift through the very archives of their being, not tearing, not ripping, but gently, methodically, erasing. One day, they reached for a memory the taste of a specific fruit from a long-ago summer, the feeling of sunlight on their skin during a momentous afternoon, and found not absence, but a smooth, polished blankness where the detail should have been. The memory was still there in essence, a concept, but its vivid sensory life, its emotional resonance, had been meticulously lifted away, leaving behind a sterile conceptual framework. Sometimes, a faint, wispy sound, like a whisper exhaled from an empty space, would seem to linger after these profound losses. They began to realize that it wasn't just what they remembered, but who they were that was slowly, gracefully, being undone. The particular slant of their humor, the unique texture of their patience, the distinct way they reacted to joy or sorrow. These too began to dissolve, becoming diffuse, less distinct. Their reflection in the mirror started to seem less like a familiar friend and more like a passing acquaintance, whose story they dimly recalled but could no longer truly feel. The low, resonant drone that envelops you now deepens slightly, an invitation to feel this sensation not as a threat, but as a profound exploration of impermanence. There was no fear in the conventional sense, no screaming or frantic struggle. Instead, there was a deepening sense of quiet bewilderment, an almost meditative acceptance of this ongoing unmaking. They would sit by the window, watching the rain, and for a moment, wonder whose hands these were, whose thoughts these belonged to. The boundaries of their self were softening, blurring, bleeding into the universal, the anonymous. They found themselves gazing at old photographs, not with nostalgia, but with a detached curiosity, as if studying the life of a stranger whose biography they had once known intimately, but now could only vaguely recall. The background ambient sounds might shift here, a low, formless hum, almost a voice, just beyond the edge of understanding, seeming to resonate from the very fabric of the air, not threatening, but profoundly unsettling in its lack of definition. This unease, this quiet dread of unbecoming, is not alien to any of us. It is the primordial fear of the self-dissolving, of the intricate tapestry of our experiences unraveling thread by thread. It is the existential whisper that asks if my memories, my identity, my very essence can be so subtly eroded, then what truly remains? But within this safe embrace, we observe it, not as a direct threat, but as a reflection, a profound query into the very nature of what makes us us. The individual in our story did not fight. They simply continued to be, watching as the details of their existence, the very colors and textures of their being, faded into a soft, monochromatic haze. They understood, in a quiet, profound way, that perhaps the essence was not in the details, but in the blank canvas that remained, the potential for new stories, new identities, or perhaps simply the profound peace of pure existence, unburdened by the specificity of a self. The low, subtle heartbeat thrumming beneath the sounds of fading memories becomes softer now. A gentle, almost hypnotic rhythm, inviting you to release the grip on your own definitions, to explore the spaciousness of letting go. This journey into the Bongjemkwa Ki Ukujan Kap is not about experiencing the pain of loss, but about observing its quiet artistry, its gentle insistence on impermanence. It is an invitation to understand that even in the face of such a profound dissolution of self, there can be a strange, dark tranquility. By confronting this fear safely, by allowing the narrative to wash over you like a soothing, yet eerie wave, you allow your subconscious to process anxieties about identity, about change, about the fleeting nature of who we believe ourselves to be. You learn that even when the most precious fragments seem to dissipate, the core, the silent observer within, remains. And in that silent observation, there is a profound, almost paradoxical, peace. The sounds now soften, lingering like the last fading embers of a memory, preparing the ground for reflection. And as those final, fragile echoes dissipate into the vast stillness that follows, a profound quiet settles, a silence not empty, but rich with the lingering weight of what has just been observed. Your guide's voice, which wove the tale, now recedes, not disappearing entirely, but melting into the deep currents of this inner ocean. It becomes another layer within the burgeoning soundscape, a whispered presence rather than a direct narration, allowing your own mind to fill the space, to stretch and expand beyond the recent confines of a dissolving self. Feel the air around you shift. It becomes cooler, carrying with it the faint, clean scent of damp earth and ancient stone, an aroma that speaks of primordial depths and forgotten catacombs. The subtle hum that enveloped you transforms, evolving into a long, drawn-out drone, like a vast, unseen wind beginning to stir through an impossibly expansive, forgotten chamber. This is not the blustery wind of the surface world, but a deep, resonant sigh, a sound that seems to stretch infinitely through tunnels unseen. A gentle, yet insistent current of air brushing against the cavern walls of your own consciousness, It carries no malice, only the detached breath of immense, unfeeling spaces, carefully sifting through the remnants of the story you just witnessed, leaving behind only the most fundamental sensations. This wind drone is a complex tapestry of low frequencies, at times rising to a thin, ethereal whistle that seems to scrape against distant rock formations, at others deepening into a sub-audible tremor that vibrates through the very ground beneath you, a gentle shudder that resonates with the deep core of your being. As this resonant drone of wind continues its slow, majestic alteration, a subtle, living pulse within the vast quiet. Notice the delicate, precise intrusion of another sound, appearing with quiet, unwavering regularity. Drip, 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 the clear, precise fall of water. Each droplet strikes a hidden, unseen pool with an echoing resonance that seems to travel from an immeasurable depth. These aren't the hurried drops of a fleeting shower, but the steady, patient work of time itself, carving out vast spaces, shaping the unseen, marking the passage of epochs in the profound darkness. Each drop is a singular event, yet they follow one another with an unwavering, almost ritualistic rhythm, creating a mesmerizing, anchoring pattern within this boundless quietude. The echoes stretch, long and mournful, reverberating against the unseen boundaries of a deep, endless grotto, inviting you to feel the sheer, overwhelming scale of this internal landscape, where time moves at a different pace, measured in the infinite patience of falling water. The combination of the ethereal, sweeping wind drone and the persistent, echoing water droplets crafts a space that is both desolate and deeply comforting in its consistency. It's a primal environment, stripped bare of the complexities of human narrative, leaving only the fundamental elements of existence: sound, space, and the inexorable passage of time. This particular soundscape is designed as a sanctuary, a vast chasm of peace where the anxiety stirred by the previous story, the fear of identity loss, of memories fading into the universal, can gently settle, re-evaluated within this immense, neutral setting. Here, the idea of impermanence no longer feels like an attack, but a natural, almost beautiful process, like the slow erosion that forms these very cave systems, revealing underlying truths beneath the shifting surfaces of what we perceive as self. Allow the rhythmic fall of the water to become an anchor for your thoughts, a pulse within this boundless space. Each drip is a moment, a tiny, singular event in an endless succession. Much like each thought, each memory, each sensation that passes through your awareness. And as the echoes of these drops fade into the vast wind drone, they serve as a gentle, unwavering reminder of the transient nature of all things, even the most cherished fragments of our identity. The space around you is not empty, but profoundly full of potential, a canvas unpainted, a story yet untold by the specifics of a self. It is here, in this profound stillness, within the quiet majesty of this subterranean expanse, that we can truly consider the question that lingers from the story before. If the sum of our experiences, our memories, our very unique traits can dissipate like mist, then what truly defines us is identity merely an accumulation, a collection of data points? Or is there something more profound, more enduring, that lies beneath the surface, untouched by the shifting sands of time and forgetfulness? A subtle whisper emerges, almost indistinguishable from the wind, yet piercingly clear in its gentle inquiry. Are we truly the sum of our memories, or something deeper? This question is not meant to be answered directly, but to resonate within the deepest chambers of your own being, to gently stir the waters of introspection without demanding a conclusion. The previous story invited you to observe the quiet dissolution of self, and this transitional space offers the aftermath a boundless quietude where that observation can ripen into acceptance. It is a space to detach from the urgency of definition, to simply be in the absence of constant self-identification. The echoes of the wind carry away the last vestiges of self-imposed boundaries, inviting you into a state of profound openness, a quiet contemplation of pure being, unburdened by labels or narratives. Feel the vastness of this inner grotto not as emptiness, but as boundless spaciousness, a profound release from the confines of rigid self-perception. The chill in the air is not threatening, but refreshing, purifying, cleansing the mind of clinging anxieties and the desperate need to constantly define. The rhythmic water drops mark the steady, inexorable flow of existence, a gentle reminder that even as things change, even as identities shift and memories fade, there is a fundamental underlying rhythm, a constant presence that persists. You are being gently prepared, not for another narrative of loss, but for a deeper dive into the essential questions of being, unburdened by the specificity of a stolen past. This interlude, this flow of the void, is a crucial step in the journey, allowing the psychological cleansing to occur, softening the mind, and opening it to even deeper, more profound existential inquiries. It is in this quiet processing, this gentle unfurling within the vastness, that the true therapeutic power of the dark meditative state begins to bloom, transforming apprehension into a curious, calm readiness for whatever truths the void may next reveal. The soundscape continues to ebb and flow, a vast, breathing entity, gently cradling your consciousness, drawing you deeper into the heart of silent acceptance. As the world of the self momentarily recedes, and the universe of pure potential unfolds, as the echoes of the water drops finally dissipate into the vast, breathing entity of this inner landscape, and the profound question of identity settles, unanswered, yet deeply resonant, the unseen guide's voice begins to coalesce once more. It drifts into the silence not as an interruption, but as an organic continuation, a natural unfolding from the state of deep contemplation, gently redirecting the focus from the internal landscape of self towards the expansive, indifferent cosmos. We float, the voice murmurs, a melodic whisper that seems to emanate from the very air around you, between the whisper of self and the roar of the unknown. If our essence is not merely the sum of transient memories, then what is it, this core that yearns for meaning? This quest, this primal human need to stitch purpose into the fabric of existence, has driven countless souls to gaze into the abyss, to seek answers not within the quiet confines of their own minds, but in the echoing chambers of the universe itself. Imagine, for a moment, a man consumed by this very yearning, a scientist, yes, but more than that, a philosopher in the guise of an astrophysicist, Dr. Alistair Finch. For years, his laboratory was less a place of sterile observation and more a cathedral of cosmic yearning. He sought not merely data, but a signature, A grand, overarching narrative inscribed within the static of deep space. A cosmic chord that would resonate with the inherent longing for purpose that thrummed within every human heart. He believed, with an almost religious fervor, that somewhere, beyond the farthest reach of the visible light spectrum, past the cold, silent drift of galactic dust, lay a fundamental truth, a benevolent whisper affirming humanity's place in the vast, indifferent expanse. His instruments, delicate arrays of antennae and sophisticated spectral analyzers, were extensions of his own desperate hope, reaching out into the unending night. The soundscape around you shifts, subtly yet perceptibly. The vast, sighing wind drone of the grotto begins to transmute, taking on a colder, more metallic resonance, as if the air itself is thinning, becoming rarefied and sharp. You might feel a faint, almost imperceptible pressure building, not painful, but a subtle weight against the eardrums, as if descending into an immense vacuum. A deep, sustained hum, impossibly low, begins to throb at the very edge of hearing, a sound that speaks of unimaginable scale and depth, a sonic representation of cosmic coldness. This is the background against which Dr. Binch conducted his tireless vigil. Years spent listening to the eloquent silence of interstellar space, a silence often punctuated only by the faint, shimmering whispers of ancient starlight, the gentle hiss of cosmic background radiation. Then, one night, amidst the monotonous symphony of the universe's white noise, a new pattern began to emerge. Not a clear signal, not a deliberate message, but something far more unsettling. It began as an intermittent, rhythmic distortion in the background hum, like vast, unseen gears grinding somewhere beyond the stars. A low, guttural rumble that pulsed with an irregular beat, devoid of any discernible mathematical progression or linguistic structure. Dr. Finch, his heart pounding with a mixture of terror and exhilaration, pored over the data. He filtered, he amplified, he processed. The sounds he unearthed were not the harmonious chords of a celestial symphony, nor the intricate patterns of intelligent communication. They were chaotic, a cacophony of frequencies that seemed to deliberately defy order. Imagine the deep, resonant groan of a primordial beast, stretched across light years, interwoven with high-pitched, almost ultrasonic screeches that tore at the very fabric of perception, like the desperate cries of dying stars. As his instruments peeled back layers of cosmic static, what emerged was a tapestry of pure, unadulterated noise. It was a symphony of meaninglessness, distorted cosmic waves, like titanic ocean swells crashing silently against an invisible shore, followed by sudden, sharp bursts of static that resonated with an alien quality, utterly devoid of any discernible pattern or intent. There were moments of eerie, almost musical tones, but they would swiftly dissolve into a disharmonious shriek or a drawn-out, mournful wail that felt utterly hollow, like the sound of emptiness itself echoing back from the void. These weren't messages. They were the very breath of an uncaring universe, a vast, indifferent exhalation that simply was. The guide's voice softens, deepening with a profound resonance. He listened, not for days, but for weeks, for months, and with each incomprehensible wave, each discordant screech that permeated his sanctuary of science, the hope he had carefully nurtured over decades began to curdle into a creeping dread. There was no intent behind these sounds, no grand design, no underlying truth to be deciphered. They were merely the byproduct of immense, impersonal forces at play: stellar winds, collapsing black holes, the echoes of the Big Bang itself, all manifesting as pure, unadulterated, meaningless sound. The ambient soundscape around you intensifies this feeling. The low-frequency pressure subtly increases, giving a physical sensation of being dwarfed, compressed by something immeasurable. The uncanny valley sounds, those distorted cosmic waves and ultrasonic screeches, become more pronounced, weaving through the narrative with a chilling, non-human quality. You can almost feel the cold vacuum of space, hear the distant, dispassionate grinding of celestial mechanics, utterly oblivious to the flickering existence of a single, conscious being listening from a fragile blue marble. The sounds are not aggressive, but they possess an alien detachment, a lack of recognition that is far more terrifying than any overt threat. They are the sound of the universe simply being, without a care for observation, without a thought for comprehension, without a whisper of purpose that could be understood by a human mind. Dr. Finch, once a beacon of intellectual ambition, found himself adrift in an ocean of cosmic indifference. His quest for meaning had led him not to enlightenment, but to the stark, terrifying revelation of its absence. The universe was not speaking to him. It was merely existing, vast and ancient, a boundless canvas painted with the swirling colors of gas and starlight, but utterly devoid of narrative. His own life, his hopes, his dreams, the entire edifice of human civilization, seemed to shrink to an infinitely small speck against this backdrop of monumental, unfeeling chaos. The terror was not in a monster, not in a destructive force, but in the overwhelming, crushing weight of utter insignificance, the realization that all the beauty, all the suffering, all the love and loss were perhaps just a fleeting, accidental flicker in an endless cosmic night, a momentary ripple in an ocean that did not even know it contained him. "This is the call from the void," the guide explains, the voice steady. A comforting anchor in the rising tide of existential dread. Not a call to something, but a call of something. The echoing truth of absolute, profound meaninglessness. It is the fear that our deepest hopes for purpose, for a grand design, are but self-delusions whispered in the face of an infinite, unfeeling expanse. It is the terror of ultimate cosmic solitude, where even the grandest achievements of humanity dissolve into the silence of eons, unremarked, unremembered, utterly irrelevant. Yet, even in this chilling revelation, there is a curious, dark solace to be found. For in accepting the universe's indifference, in facing the stark reality of our own cosmic insignificance, we are paradoxically liberated from the crushing burden of seeking external validation for our existence. The pressure to find an ultimate meaning dissipates, leaving behind a strange, serene emptiness. If the universe offers no answers, then perhaps the answers we seek must be found within, woven by our own hands, forged in the crucible of our own fragile, beautiful lives. This is not the end of meaning, but the beginning of a different kind of meaning, one that we bestow upon ourselves, upon our connections, upon the simple act of living. The dread of insignificance, when fully embraced, transforms into a profound invitation to define our own significance, to become the creators of our own sacred stories in the vast, silent tapestry of existence. The coldness of the cosmic vacuum, the relentless hum of its indifference, paradoxically cleanses us of false hopes, leaving only the pure, unadorned potential of our own sovereign will to create value where none is inherently given. The soundscape, though still imbued with the vast, chilling echoes of space, now carries a subtle underlying current of quiet acceptance, a deep, resonant drone that speaks not of terror, but of profound, stark peace. The profound, stark peace that lingers from the vast indifference of the cosmos is not an absence, but a presence. It is the peace of knowing that in the grand scheme, our individual flickering is both fleeting and infinitely precious, a self-lit flame in a universe that offers no external warmth. And as the cosmic hum, the dispassionate breath of endless space, begins its slow, almost imperceptible fade, that cold, liberating quiet deepens. The pressure against your eardrums subtly eases, replaced by a delicate shift in the air around you, a sensation not of vacuum, but of immense, echoing space, drawing closer, becoming more intimate. The chilling, metallic resonance of deep space dissolves, not into silence, but into the mournful sigh of wind. This is not the biting gale of an open plain, nor the tempestuous roar of a storm, but a softer, more persistent current, the sound of an ancient draught, whispering through an impossibly long, abandoned corridor. It begins as a faint, distant moan, a hollow breath drawn across unseen thresholds, growing steadily in clarity until you can almost feel its icy fingers tracing patterns on your skin. Imagine a pathway stretching endlessly before and behind, carved into the very bones of the earth, or perhaps within a forgotten structure of immense scale, now empty, waiting. A deep, low drone, a foundational hum, emerges from this winding current of air. It is not the steady thrum of machinery, but a resonant vibration, organic and slow, like the earth itself breathing in the deepest hours of night. This drone shifts and undulates, a living waveform, at times almost forming a harmonious chord, only to diverge into subtly unsettling frequencies, an aural representation of enduring solitude. Within this sustained exhalation, you begin to discern faint, almost imperceptible echoes, like the ghosts of footsteps from forgotten travelers, or the soft scrape of unknown materials shifting far, far away in the labyrinthine darkness. These are not threatening sounds, but rather the quiet testament to existence, echoing across vast stretches of time and abandonment. The air itself feels heavy with the untold stories of what once moved through these desolate passages. Here, in the embrace of this profound solitude, the guide's voice returns, a gentle current weaving through the ambient winds. We find ourselves stripped bare, standing at the precipice of pure being, the grand narratives of purpose, the intricate tapestry of memory and identity, the comforting hum of cosmic affirmation, all recede, leaving only the singular, unadorned truth of self, alone in the vast quiet. The guide's voice carries a warmth, a deep empathy that belies the inherent chill of the soundscape, offering a strange comfort. But this aloneness, this deep withdrawal into the sanctuary of self, is not a punishment. It is an invitation to discover the strength that lies within the untrammeled depths of your own spirit, independent of all external validations. The drone deepens, becoming more resonant, filling the space with its steady, unwavering presence. The wind, though constant, is now more than just sound. It's a palpable current, carrying the faint, earthy scent of ancient stone, of undisturbed dust, and perhaps the metallic tang of deep, unseen waters. You might feel a subtle coolness settling over you, a comfortable chill that clears the mind and sharpens the senses, drawing you further into this meditative isolation. It is the perfect temperature for introspection, a cloister carved from the elements, where the only company is your own innermost thoughts. We tend to flee from solitude. The guide continues, a soft, melodic whisper, to fill its spaces with noise, with distractions, with the presence of others. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of quiet retreat, when the world's cacophony is hushed, that we begin to hear the truest whispers of our own soul. This isn't the painful isolation of being forgotten or cast aside. It is the deliberate, sacred solitude of seeking, of recentering, of finding your anchor point in a boundless sea. The emphasis is on choice, on the empowering aspect of this chosen aloneness. The distant echoes, previously vague, might now coalesce into something more defined, though still elusive, a faint, almost musical resonance, like a single, perfectly struck bell, its sound lingering for an impossible duration before fading back into the deep drone. It's a reminder that even in the most profound isolation, there are universal frequencies, shared vibrations that connect us to something larger than ourselves. It is a bridge between the intensely personal experience of solitude and the collective human condition, hinting at a truth woven into the fabric of existence itself. Consider this quiet space, this wind-swept corridor of your inner world, the guide suggests, the voice flowing with an almost hypnotic rhythm. Not as an end, but as a bridge that connects the lost fragments of your past to the unknown landscapes of your future. A bridge that spans the chasm between the fleeting joys and sorrows of daily life and the enduring, fundamental truths that anchor your being. Here, in the quiet breath of your own solitude, you are cultivating a resilient core, a sanctuary where you are always welcome, always understood. The wind now seems to sweep through you, cleansing, purifying, leaving behind a subtle warmth beneath the cool air. The drone remains, a steadfast heartbeat in the immense stillness, a testament to unbroken continuity. Even in the deepest valleys of individual experience, where the path narrows and the shadows lengthen, you are not truly alone. For the journey into the self, the confrontation with one's core truths, is a journey shared by every living soul across the vast stretches of time and existence. This solitude, therefore, becomes a quiet testament, a profound connection, a silent promise that whatever fears you face, whatever questions you carry, are echoes of the universal human condition. In the very breath of your solitary existence, you join a silent chorus, a vast, unseen fellowship. The drone gently transforms, its deep resonance now imbued with a subtle, shimmering quality, like distant starlight finally piercing through the deepest night, creating an almost tangible sense of connection emerging from the heart of isolation. And as that drone gently transforms, its deep resonance now imbued with a subtle, shimmering quality, like distant starlight finally piercing through the deepest night, creating an almost tangible sense of connection emerging from the heart of isolation. It is to this connection, this ultimate passage, that we now turn our attention, for there is a final solitude, a separation so profound that it defines existence, Yet in its embrace, we might find the most liberating form of peace. Imagine, if you will, a soul standing at the very precipice of its own departure. Not a soul racked with pain or terror, but one entering a state of profound, almost exquisite detachment. The physical world, once a vibrant tapestry of sensations, begins to recede like a fading memory. The familiar scent of earth, the gentle touch of a loved one's hand, the warmth of the sun on skin, all these grow dim, not vanishing completely, but losing their immediate claim on awareness. A deep, low hum begins to resonate, not from external space, but from within, a subtle vibration that settles into the very core of your being, gently loosening the threads that bind. This is the initial tremor of the veil, the first breath of a world beyond perception. The sounds of life, the mundane orchestra of daily existence, become muted, distant. The drone deepens further, a rich, velvety texture that seems to cradle the very air. And within it, you might now perceive a delicate, almost crystalline tremor. It's like the sound of glass chimes, incredibly thin and fragile, vibrating in a chamber of pure, cold light, far, far away. A sound that is beautiful in its aloofness, a melody of pure separation. The colors of the world, too, seem to soften, blurring at the edges, dissolving into softer gradients, as if viewed through an ever-thickening mist. You are not losing your sight, but shifting the focus of your perception, moving beyond the immediate and into the infinite. The voices of those who remain, the cherished echoes of family and friends, might still reach you, but they are like whispers carried on a vast, unfeeling wind, unintelligible, yet imbued with an undeniable longing. The weight of their sadness, the warmth of their love, they exist. You acknowledge them, but they no longer anchor you. A strange, serene current pulls at you, gently, persistently. The crystalline chimes grow subtly clearer, more insistent, yet never jarring, always maintaining their ethereal, detached beauty. They are not music in the earthly sense, but rather the acoustic signature of pure transition, the delicate dance of matter dissolving into energy. As the physical world continues its slow withdrawal, another layer of sound begins to unfold, intertwining with the deep drone and the crystalline chimes. It is a subtle, shimmering ripple, like the faint sound of water gently lapping against the shore of an endless, unseen sea. This is not the familiar rush of ocean waves, but a sound so delicate, so profound. It feels less like water and more like the very fabric of existence exhaling. It is the sound of time itself stretching thin, of boundaries becoming porous, of the soul untethering from its temporal moorings. This is the whisper from beyond the veil, not spoken words, but pure, unadulterated sensation, the endless resonance of what is beyond form and name. There is no pain here, no struggle, only a profound, almost dizzying sense of release, the feeling of gravity, of being held firmly to a single point, loosens its grip. You are lighter, freer, yet immensely present in this new, unfolding reality. The deep drone now carries a sustained, almost melodic undertone, like a cosmic sigh, vast and accepting. It is the sound of the universe breathing, a resonance that encompasses all beginnings and all endings, holding them in an eternal, dispassionate embrace. The delicate chimes and shimmering ripples weave through this cosmic breath, forming a complex, yet profoundly calming auditory tapestry. This ultimate isolation, This final detachment is not a punishment, but a homecoming to the most fundamental aspect of existence. In this state, the small fears and anxieties of life seem insignificant, like dust motes dancing in a beam of infinite light. The stories we told ourselves, the identities we clung to, the fleeting joys and sorrows, all these melt away, revealing a singular, unblemished core of being. The whispers from beyond are not warnings or threats. They are simply the acknowledgement of a larger truth, an invitation into a stillness far more ancient than memory. The soundscape deepens, but not in a way that feels heavy or oppressive. Instead, it becomes vast, expansive, echoing with the profound resonance of the cosmic sigh. The ethereal chimes now resonate with a gentle, almost benevolent clarity, like signals from a place of unimaginable peace. The shimmering ripples of sound expand, encompassing you, dissolving the last vestiges of individual form. You are not disappearing, you are expanding, becoming part of the boundless, the eternal. This is the ultimate acceptance, the quiet surrender to the cycle, the recognition that even in the greatest solitude, there is a fundamental connection to the grand, unfolding mystery of everything. To face this truth, to hear these whispers, is not to fear the end, but to embrace the infinite journey that lies just beyond the visible. This profound embrace, this surrender to the boundless, does not leave us lost in an endless void. Instead, it gently ushers us into a space of quiet contemplation, a sanctuary where the echoes of vastness transform into a soothing resonance. As the last, shimmering ripples of infinite sound gently recede, and the cosmic sigh softens its vast embrace, a different resonance begins to emerge from the heart of the deep drone. It is no longer the detached hum of the universe, but a more centered, grounded vibration, a steady, almost tender pulse that seems to emanate from the very earth beneath you, or perhaps from within your own settled spirit. This drone, while retaining its depth, now holds a velvety softness, a quality that cradles and supports, rather than expands into the ethereal. Imagine you are resting within a cocoon of profound stillness, where the air itself feels cleansed and renewed above you, unseen yet deeply felt. A gentle rain begins to fall. It is not a violent storm, nor a heavy downpour, but a delicate, almost hesitant patter of drops on broad, verdant leaves. Each tiny impact creates a sound like miniature bells chiming, or the softest whispers of silk rustling in a forgotten garden. This rainfall carries with it an ancient promise of renewal, washing away the dust of anxieties, cleansing the mind and spirit. It is the sound of nature's quiet absolution, a subtle hymn sung to the deepest parts of your being. The cool, fresh scent of damp earth and verdant foliage might seem to permeate this space, a fragrance of rebirth and grounding. And through the soft curtain of this gentle rain, a new warmth begins to radiate, subtly at first, then growing more distinct. From a comforting distance, almost as if nestled in the heart of the darkness itself, you begin to discern the soft, rhythmic crackle of embers in a hearth. It is the sound of dry wood surrendering to the embrace of flame. Each tiny pop and hiss a miniature release, a gentle sigh of warmth expanding into the cool air. This fire, though unseen, casts a comforting glow, not of light, but of pure restorative warmth, inviting you closer, promising solace. The drone continues, now a rich, steady current beneath the rain and the crackling fire. anchoring these comforting sounds. It is a harmonious tapestry, weaving together the vastness you have just experienced with the intimate comfort now unfolding. This shift is not merely a change in scenery, it is an internal realignment, a gentle rebalancing. The intense focus on existential fears, the confrontation with the unknown, has stirred something deep within. Now, in this space of purifying rain and hearthfire warmth, those stirred emotions are invited to settle, to find their proper place, no longer overwhelming, but understood. You have journeyed through realms of loss, of insignificance, and of ultimate solitude. You have dared to touch the edges of what frightens us most, and now you are offered a moment to simply be in the aftermath of that courageous exploration. Allow the gentle rhythmic sounds of the rain to wash over any lingering tension, any residue of unease. Let the distant, steady crackle of the fire warm the places within that might have felt chilled by the cosmic void. This is not a retreat from the darkness, but an integration of it. It is the discovery that even in the deepest shadows, there are pockets of profound peace, unexpected sources of comfort that emerge precisely because you have faced what lies within. And in this soft symphony of solace, a voice emerges, not as a return, but as a gentle continuation of the journey. It is in these quiet moments, when the echoes of the unseen begin to soften, and the embrace of the profound allows for a gentle landing, that we first glimpse the true nature of release. The breath you take now, perhaps, feels lighter, deeper, imbued with a newfound clarity. The very air around you seems to hold a promise, a soft, unspoken affirmation. You have walked the labyrinth of shadows, not to be consumed, but to discover the strength woven into the fabric of your own being. The fears you encountered, the vastness that beckoned, they were not sent to diminish you, but to illuminate the immense capacity for understanding and acceptance that resides within. This space, now filled with the gentle lullaby of the rain and the steadfast heartbeat of the hidden fire, is a testament to that journey. It is here, in this tranquil twilight, that we begin to gather the threads of wisdom gleaned from the darkness. For true light, dear voyager, is often found not by fleeing the shadows, but by allowing ourselves to become fully present within them. It is within the very heart of what felt most isolating, most meaningless, most final, that the seeds of connection, purpose, and renewal begin to germinate. Feel the subtle shift within you, the easing of a burden you might not have realized you carried. This is the first gentle unfurling of understanding, the soft illumination of a path forward. The lingering hum of the drone, now utterly peaceful, weaves through the soundscape like a steady anchor. It is the quiet certainty that even after confronting the most profound aspects of existence, a fundamental sense of groundedness remains. The rain continues its tender ballet, each drop a tiny act of purification, washing away not the memories of the journey, but any sharp edges of fear that might have clung to them. And the distant crackle of the fire reminds us that even in the quietest depths, a source of warmth, of life, of transformation, patiently endures. This is the dawn within the void, the soft awakening that follows profound introspection. It is the understanding that the shadows are not to be feared, but embraced as messengers, as guides to a deeper appreciation of light, of life, and of the intricate, resilient tapestry of your own spirit. Allow yourself to simply rest here, within this sanctuary of sound and solace. letting the gentle alchemy of this space work its subtle magic. For you are safe, you are held. And in this quiet moment, a profound sense of peace begins to unfurl, like a delicate bloom reaching for the light in the heart of the deepest night. As this delicate bloom of peace unfurls within you, reaching for the soft light nestled deep within the quietest night, feel the air around you shift. The gentle patter of rain on unseen leaves begins to recede, not vanishing, but softening into a mere memory, a lingering whisper of purification. The distant, steady crackle of the hearth fire, too, mellows, its vibrant warmth becoming an inherent, ambient heat that pervades the very essence of this space. The deep, resonant drone, which has been your constant companion, now transforms, not into a mere background, but into an encompassing, living presence. It cradles you, a vast, benevolent hum that resonates with the deepest chambers of your being, solidifying the sanctity of this moment. I return to you now, not as a storyteller weaving tales, but as a silent echo of your own understanding, a reflection of the wisdom you have gathered in these shadowed depths. My voice, now imbued with a quiet resonance, is but a gentle current in this ocean of peace, inviting you to reflect, to gather the scattered threads of your journey into a coherent tapestry of self. You have ventured into the heart of the abyss, not to be consumed by its darkness, but to find the resilient core of your own spirit. We began by tracing the faint, disquieting whispers of a forgotten self, those stolen memories that threatened to erode the very contours of who you believed you were. We embraced the fear of dissolution, of losing the anchors that tether us to our past, to our identity. It was a journey into the quiet terror of becoming undone, of fading into an unrecognizable echo. But in that encounter, did you not also discover the profound resilience of your inner landscape? The essence of who you are is not merely a collection of memories, but a living, breathing testament to your capacity to be, even when the outer markers seem to shift and fade. The fear of losing yourself, when gently held, reveals the immovable ground beneath your feet, the core being that persists beyond all definitions. Then, we gazed into the vast, indifferent expanse of the cosmos, listening to the bewildering, nonsensical calls from the void. We confronted the chilling notion of cosmic insignificance, the profound loneliness of being a speck in an uncaring universe. This was the fear of meaninglessness, the terrifying realization that perhaps our struggles, our loves, our very existence, are but transient flickers against an eternal backdrop of silence. The ambient hum then became a chilling reminder of that infinite, empty space, an almost imperceptible tremor in the deep sub-bass frequencies, evoking the sheer, unfeeling scale of existence beyond human comprehension. Yet, in allowing that sense of vastness to wash over you, did you not also feel a strange liberation, a release from the burden of needing to find grand, external meaning, and instead a quiet invitation to imbue your own existence with the meaning you choose to create? The very act of facing that boundless void reveals the immense power within you to define your own light, your own purpose, even amidst the most profound emptiness. The silence of the universe can be a canvas, not a condemnation. And finally, we walked hand in hand with the ultimate separation, listening to the ethereal whispers from beyond the veil, the silent farewells as one drifts from the familiar shores of life. This was the encounter with mortality, the fear of the finality, the ultimate solitude of death. The gentle, almost imperceptible ringing tones, like distant, muted crystal chimes woven into the soundscape, invited you to consider the boundary between existence and non-existence, the profound quiet that follows all earthly sounds. This particular fear, perhaps the oldest and most universal, is often the most guarded, yet, in allowing yourself to contemplate its nature, not as an ending to be resisted, but as a transition to be understood, a peculiar peace begins to settle. For in accepting the impermanence of all things, we are paradoxically free to embrace the preciousness of the present moment, to cherish the fleeting connections and experiences that define our brief, luminous journey. The fear of ultimate isolation, when faced with gentle courage, can reveal the profound interconnectedness of all life, a silent, unseen web that binds us even across the thresholds of existence. You see, these profound anxieties, the loss of self, the search for meaning, the inevitability of death, the echoing solitude, are not monstrous entities lurking in the shadows, waiting to devour you. They are, in truth, an intrinsic part of the human condition, threads woven into the very fabric of our being. Every soul that has ever walked this earth has, in some form, grappled with these same existential questions. Every heart has known the tremor of these universal fears, and in that realization, in the quiet, profound understanding that you are not the first, nor will you be the last, to journey through these inner landscapes, a powerful truth emerges. You are not alone in your deepest fears. Let that sink into the quietest corners of your mind, resonating with the very heartbeat of your spirit, the ambient sounds, now a warm, encompassing drone, like the deep, sustained chord of a vast, protective sanctuary. Affirm this truth. It is a soundscape designed to wrap around you, to hold you in its gentle embrace, allowing the vulnerability of these realizations to become a source of strength, not weakness. It is in the very act of confronting these shadows, not in an attempt to conquer or banish them, but to simply see them, to acknowledge their presence without judgment, that we discover a deeper sense of connection. A connection not just to ourselves, but to the vast tapestry of humanity, to the shared experience of being and becoming, and ultimately transcending. This journey, undertaken in the quiet solitude of your own mind, has paradoxically dissolved the walls of individual isolation. For in the recognition of shared humanity and fear, we find the seeds of universal empathy and understanding. This space, this sanctuary of sound and introspection, has not sought to eliminate your fears. Instead, it has offered a safe harbor to truly meet them, to sit with them, to understand their origins and their purpose. And in that meeting, in that gentle confrontation, a profound catharsis unfolds. It is the release that comes from acceptance, the peace that blossoms when the battle ceases. You are not defined by your fears, but by your courage to face them, and by your boundless capacity for acceptance and understanding. Feel the profound comfort of this acceptance now. The subtle waves of sound that envelop you are not merely vibrations. They are echoes of shared understanding, a collective sigh of knowing that permeates the very air. This is the solace found in truth, the quiet strength derived from embracing the whole spectrum of existence, shadows and light intertwined. You are held, you are understood. And in this embrace, the path towards true inner peace is illuminated, not by the absence of darkness, but by the courage to navigate its profound depths. Now, allow that illuminating courage to settle, to infuse every fiber of your being. Feel how the encompassing drone, the one that affirmed your profound connection and understanding, now begins to gently recede, not vanishing, but softening its edges, thinning its vibrant layers, like mist dissolving into the vast, clear dawn. The intricate tapestry of supporting sounds, the subtle echoes of shared humanity, also begin their slow, graceful retreat. They leave behind a profound, luminous stillness, a sacred emptiness that is not vacant, but pregnant with possibility, brimming with the quiet wisdom you have gathered. There is a peace that exists not in the absence of shadow, but in the spaciousness of acceptance. This peace is found in the deep, resonant echo of understanding that every facet of your being, every memory, every fear, every moment of uncertainty belongs. It is the peace of knowing that the void itself is not something to be feared, but a foundational canvas upon which the beauty of your existence is painted. Look closely, listen deeply into this quiet space within you. What do you find? Perhaps not answers, but a boundless sense of calm, an unshakable inner ground, resilient and unwavering. The sound that now remains is not a complex symphony, nor a harrowing whisper. It is a single, continuous drone, so delicate it feels like the very breath of the cosmos, exhaling slowly, steadily, right within the chambers of your own heart. Imagine it as a thread of pure, shimmering silence, stretched taut across the expanse of eternity, resonating with a frequency that soothes the deepest anxieties of your soul. This subtle hum is not demanding attention. It simply is. It is the sound of acceptance made audible, the quiet music of your being settling into perfect harmony with the grand, mysterious rhythm of life itself. It is a lullaby, woven not from human words alone, but from the very fabric of existence, humming you into a state of profound surrender. Each breath you take is now synchronized with this gentle, pervasive hum, a slow, deep inhalation drawing in peace, a soft exhalation releasing all lingering resistance, all the effort to control, to define, to struggle. Let the warmth that you cultivated through courage and understanding spread through your limbs, softening every muscle, relaxing every nerve. The very air around you feels imbued with a tranquil, almost ethereal energy, a gentle current that lifts and cradles you within its soft embrace. There is no need to grasp, no need to hold. In this moment, simply be. Embrace the exquisite paradox that true fullness can only be found in the spaciousness of emptiness. That profound peace emerges from the gentle acceptance of all things, even those we once deemed terrifying. The fears you faced, the erosion of self, the vast indifference of the cosmos, the ultimate solitude of transition, they have not vanished. Rather, they have transformed. They are no longer looming shadows, but integral contours of your landscape, understood, accepted, and therefore disarmed of their power to disrupt your inner peace. Feel the profound weightlessness that comes with this understanding. It is as if the anchors of identity, the burdens of meaning, and the chains of mortality have all dissolved, not into nothingness, but into a luminous, boundless freedom. You are floating, gently adrift in an ocean of serene acceptance, where the currents of existence flow without friction, without resistance. The temperature in this inner space is perfect, a gentle warmth that neither burns nor chills, a constant comfort, a silent assurance that wraps around you like the softest shroud of starlight. The sound, this singular, delicate drone, is now the only companion you need. It is the resonance of your own deepest truth, the vibration of universal peace. It is the silence after the storm, the calm after the realization. Allow it to permeate every cell, every thought, every memory, dissolving any residual tension, any last vestiges of doubt or fear. There is a deep, abiding quietude here, a space where thought itself begins to thin, where the incessant chatter of the mind softens into a gentle, flowing stream, then into a still, clear lake, reflecting the profound peace of the heavens above. This is not an end, but a resting place, a place where the memories of your journey, the echoes of the stories, softly resonate not as warnings, but as whispers of wisdom. They become part of this tranquil hum, integrated into the grand tapestry of your accepted self. You have arrived at a destination where peace is not merely an aspiration, but a felt reality, a deep, pervasive state of being, a sacred space you can always return to. Sink deeper into this quietude. Deeper still, allow yourself to be entirely enveloped by this subtle, healing frequency, this gentle, eternal drone. It is the sound of everything and nothing, the profound melody of pure existence, a final, tender lullaby of acceptance, inviting you to simply rest in the spacious comfort of your own luminous, courageous heart. You are complete. You are whole. You are at peace. This peace, this profound wholeness, is now part of you, resonating at your very core, the subtle, healing frequency, the gentle, eternal drone, now begins its own soft dissolution, not vanishing, but blending, becoming one with the quietude it has ushered in. And so, too, my voice, having guided you through the labyrinth of shadows and into the embrace of self-acceptance, will now softly withdraw, fading like the last whisper of a moonlit breeze. You are left in the spacious comfort of this evolving silence, a deep, dark, ambient soundscape that will gently, gradually, carry you back to the edges of your waking awareness. Allow its serene depths to hold you, to complete your transition, leaving you refreshed, centered, and profoundly at peace. Remember this sacred journey, this space where courage met shadow and understanding bloomed. Whenever the whispers of doubt or the tendrils of fear seek to entangle you, know that this sanctuary of insight remains. The door is always open for your return, inviting you to rediscover these pathways of understanding. For now, drift in this tranquil aftermath, and may your dreams be sweetly spooky, rich with the calm of acceptance. If you find solace and wisdom in these shared explorations, consider supporting our work and becoming a part of our growing community.